Hi everybody, welcome to the work from home edition of Performance Training. My name is Coach Ryan. I'm from the Chicago office. Our emphasis today is going to be primarily foundational in nature, so we're really working on good fundamental strength patterns, specifically emphasizing unilateral movements. So one leg or one arm at a time, some asymmetry involved, really working on good core stability and strength as well. Being on one leg or using one side of our body at a time is going to allow us to overload our system a little bit more with limited access to equipment. Obviously, we don't probably have a lot of tools to work with being at home. So I'll show you how you can do a lot of this stuff just mainly body weight or minimal equipment. Obviously, I have some toys here to play with. Most of it is going to be optional. Before I go into that, really quick, we're going to go through a quick 8 to 10 minute warm up. After that, we'll do a total body block that will take us about 10 to 12 minutes. Total body block is going to focus a little bit more on dynamic or skill-based movements. We're going to require a lot of stability with those. We'll then go into a strength block that's going to look like a little more traditional strength training. And then we'll finish with a metabolic block. That will finish with a nice raise in your heart rate, get a little sweat going at the end, so leave you feeling good when you walk away. This whole workout should take about 40-45 minutes. Real quick, equipment, if you have it, helps to have a mat or a blanket, something to be on the floor with, just to cushion any of those joints. Also, if you're sweating. Also, helps to have a block if you have one. If you don't, you could use a small pillow. A chair, which is not in the picture. I have a chair over here to the side I might use for some of our squatting movements. And then we've got, if you don't have weights, like as you can see I have kettlebells. If you don't have weights, you can just use some small soup cans. A little ball, like even a tennis ball or a dog toy works. And then also some cardboard will come in handy later on in the workout. All right, now we're just getting into the first half of our warm-up, so our pillar prep. We're going to start on our mat on the floor with a single leg glute bridge. We want a hip lock on one side, so we're going to hold that thigh in tight to our chest. Opposite heel is on the ground, driving that heel down into the floor, punching that knee forward and back down. Try to get a full lockout through the hip. We're going to do 10 of those. After I get 10, I'm going to switch sides, obviously. Same thing. Little pause at the top. Make sure you get a big glute squeeze. Make sure you're not arching your back too much or extending that low back. Just focus on driving that heel through the floor. Once you've gotten 10, you're going to roll over to your side. You may want a block for this or a small pillow, just something to rest that top thigh on. So notice my legs are splayed like this. I'm pushing down with a little pressure through my top knee. Hands are stacked in front. And we're going from a glute bridge into a 90-90 arm sweep. Going all the way around, trying to turn and present that chest to the ceiling and back. We're just going to do 5 of these per side. Make sure that top knee stays down. Big inhale at the start. Slow exhale as you wrap around, trying to flatten that back. Turn that chest towards the ceiling. Okay, once you've gotten 5 of those, you can flip. Same thing, opposite side. Top knee down, back leg bent, blade behind you. Try to keep contact with the floor with that top arm. Long exhale. Inhale on the way back. Take your time with this. Make sure you breathe. Breathing is essential to make sure you're getting good rotation through that chest and upper thoracic. After that, we're going to a front pillar bridge. Face this way. So we're going to go palms up, Back flat, knees locked out, driving those heels away behind you, pushing through the floor with your forearms. All right, we're just going to hold this for 20 seconds. Helps to kind of draw in that belly button towards your spine, drive those forearms through the floor. Make sure you're breathing. After a 20-second hold, we're going to transition to a lateral pillar bridge. Right? If these are tough, you can also do this on knees as well. All right, so our lateral pillar bridge. Elbow sets up right under shoulder, legs straight or knees bent, just like we did with the front if you need to make it a little easier. Feet stacked. You can reach to that ceiling if you like. If you need to put the top foot down in front, make it a little easier. Additionally, if you have a block, you can push down into the block with that top hand. Takes a little bit of the load off that bottom shoulder. We're just going to hold here for 20 seconds. After 20 on the right, flip. Same thing, 20 on the left. And we're just about done with our first part of the warm-up, with our pillar prep. We'll go right into movement prep after this. Try to picture yourself from a top-down view. You want a nice straight line through the top of your head all the way down through your heels. And take a break. Okay, for our movement preparation, so second part of our warm-up, we're going to come to standing. We're working, again, on a lot of single leg stability, right? We're going to apply that later on in our workout, but for now, you're going to start with a little open floor space behind you and around you. Lower down into kind of a mini squat. You're going to pick up that leg up into a leg cradle. So we're going to go from this leg cradle position into a reverse lunge, hover that back leg, and you're going to turn and look across your front thigh. Turn and look at that hand behind you, up nice and tall. We're going to switch sides. We want 5 of these per leg. All right, take your time, really emphasize balance. I switch legs, down into that reverse lunge, turn towards the front thigh, look at that back hand. All right, I'm just going to keep alternating. All right, when you're in this stacked position, make sure you're not arching that back. Stack your joints nice and tall. Hands should be under knee and under ankle, not this, right? We're not torquing the knee. We're trying to get a little stretch in that hip. Lower that back leg. Turn towards the front thigh. Rotate. Look at that hand behind you. Keep alternating sides. Now, if this low lunge position is tough, you can always raise it up a little bit. Make sure you're turning through your chest. Try to keep belly button forward. All right, still breathing with that rotation. Once you've got 5 each side, going to an inverted hamstring stretch. So now we're stretching back of our thighs. Again, foot in place, palms up this time, shoulders back, stack those joints. Sweep that back heel nice and high. Keep that bottom foot connected to the ground like you've grown roots. Push through the floor. Stand nice and tall again. So this time we're not going to alternate. We're going to go 5 in a row on the left. 5 in a row on the right. Soft knee bend. Don't lock out that stance leg, right? You want to work those muscles a little bit, not rely on just pure joint stability. Back leg nice and long. You can switch sides. 5 on the other side. Keep that chest up. Sweeping that back heel nice and high. Fight to keep that chest high. Looks like a nice seesaw. All right, now we're gonna get you activated. We got one more exercise for this warm-up. So we're just gonna work on a drop squat. Drop squat, you're gonna start nice and high, tall, reaching to the ceiling, and I'm gonna say base. You're gonna drop into that base position, right? So you're reacting to my voice. So you're up, base, as quick as you can, again from the side, just so you can see, up, base, right? That's your end position. You hear up, you're back up into that tall position, base, okay? We're gonna do that about 5 times. Everybody ready? So you're up, hold, base, good, up, base, up, hold, hold, base, up, base, up, base. Good work. Take a little break, little breather. Shake it out. So we're gonna do that same thing one more time. This time, you're up in your base position, and I'm gonna say right or left. If you hear right or left, left, right. Working on that single leg balance, that single leg stability. It's that same position. That one leg is hovering, okay? So if I say right, you're coming down on your right. If I say left, coming down on your left. Capiche? Everybody ready? So you're up, right, good, up, right, up, everybody up, left, good, up, left, up, right, good job. All right, take a little break, grab some water. We're gonna start our first block, so we'll go right into the total body block. All right, now we're working into our total body block. So we're gonna apply a little power to this session now. I'm gonna go through 3 movements. You can kind of see what the demo looks like. I'll explain it a little bit, and then we'll go through 2 sets. All right, we're aiming to get about 5 reps per side on each movement. All right, so our first one is a lateral bound with no counter movement to a stable landing. So we're starting on one leg, right, in that base position here. We just did that in our warm-up. So now we're gonna apply it. So we're gonna take off, land on the opposite leg, hopefully nice and stable. All right, so you wanna pause, stick that landing. Okay, if you do have a block or something for context, you can put it right between your landing and, or your takeoff and your landing position. So here, I'm just gonna go up and over. Ooh, stick it, missed it that time. Ooh, gotta work on that left leg. All right, so we'll do 5 per side like that. All right, after that, we're gonna go to a modified plank position. So normally our legs would be out straight here. We're gonna go knees bent, back flat. You wanna pick up, kind of shift your weight back. One hand comes up, opposite leg comes up off the floor. And we're gonna try to kick out in front here. Pull back that top hand. Back through, straight back. All right, now I'm kind of crammed into the camera here, but for you, you wanna make sure you have some room behind you so you can really kick that leg back all the way straight, reach out in front, fully extend, and then come back. If you need a little break on this or a little bit of a regression, instead of hovering at those endpoints, you can put hand and toe down, slow kick through, hand and foot down. So I just bring down my points of support. We're gonna do 5 on the left, and then you're gonna switch sides. So same deal, modified plank, pick up opposite arm and leg, rotate, kick through, try to get that leg nice and long, reach out in front, back leg real long, just like that. All right, we'll do 2 sets of that. And then our last one, star pattern. So we're also on the floor. Modified lateral pillar bridge position. So knees are bent. We're on our bottom leg. Top leg is hovering. Turn this way a bit so you can see. All right, so my hips are nice and straight. Back knee is bent, or both knees are bent. And I'm just reaching out in front, shoving my hips straight back. Coming up nice and tall. Big glute squeeze at the top, lock those hips out. We're gonna do 5 on your left side, and then we'll rotate. Okay. 5 on the right. And a little pause at the top. So let's go ahead and start that. We'll go into our first exercise. So we're back to the lateral bounds. Okay, we're gonna do 5 per side, right? Starting that base position. Go ahead and start with me. Just count. 1, 2. Make sure you pause at your landings. We don't want these continuous. We want to work on stability. Hold that low position. That's 4. Ooh. Good. All right, we're gonna finish that up. Down to that modified plank position. Back flat, knees bent. Pick up one leg, opposite arm. Kick through. And back out behind you, reach out front, back leg long. We're gonna do 5 of these. The slower you go, the harder this will be. Try to get real long at those end positions. Okay, when you finish 5, switch sides. Same thing. Big reach, little pause at each end. Again, if you need to, you can put those limbs down. Put that foot down at either end for a bit of support. Okay, if you need to make this even easier, you can modify this. Just a shoulder tap or a leg lift, right? Or lift opposite arm and leg is a good alternative. All right, now we're gonna go to star pattern. Elbow under shoulder, hips pushed forward. So you have a nice line through your top shoulder and top knee. Butt goes back. Hips are gonna lower, but they're not gonna touch the floor. Come back up tall. Gonna make sure you set up with that elbow under your shoulder. Inhale as hips go back. Exhale as you come to the top. And we're gonna switch. Should feel this working. Bottom shoulder, bottom hip. Might feel a big burn in your glute. Watch that top leg, make sure it's not waving around as you're moving. You want to keep it hovering right over your bottom leg. Okay, we'll get 5 of those. And then we're right back to the top one more time. So we're going to do our second set, final set of lateral bounds. Hold that base position, make sure you're still. And again, 5 each way. Take your time. Emphasize good landings, soft landing, real quiet, don't shake the house. Okay, one more time with the modified pillar, with the kick through. Five each way. A lot of stability with this, a lot of shoulder stability, a lot of core work. Right, and again, you can put those limbs down at any point. Just take a little break if you need to. Okay, and switch sides, 5 on the other. Through nice and slow, pause, back, reach out. Ooh, lost it there. You get 5. Coming down 2. star pattern. One more set. All right, hips up nice and high. Butt goes straight back. Belly button's gonna rotate towards the floor a bit. Reach out that top arm. Lock it out strong at the top. And I'm really trying to reach. Really trying to reach forward, butt's really trying to go back. But only knee and same side forearm are on the ground. So my butt's not touching. It's still hovering, it's just low. Good. Other side. And we can wrap up this total body block. Two more. Good. All right, next up, grab a little bit of water, take a break, and then we're gonna hit the strength block. Okay, next up is our strength block. So we're hitting 3 movements now. We're gonna go lower body, upper body, and then we just have a little hip stretch in between those 2 movements we're gonna work on. We're gonna try to get 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps of each movement. So our first one is a single leg squat to box. All right, just show you the movement purely on its own is stand on that one leg, other leg is gonna hover right next to it, arms out front, sit straight down, tap your butt, stand up. It's key that you're not actually sitting, falling, and then propelling yourself back up. You wanna stay tall, just lower the hips, barely kiss it, come back up. A couple modifications for this. If you need to make this easier, bring the box or the chair up to you. So you can just put a pillow or a block behind you. And again, you're just not going as low, but you're still tapping. If you want to make this a little tougher, this way. You're going to stand on the block. So now you're bringing yourself away, more distance to travel. Oh, it's a lot tougher at the bottom. Okay, still doing 8 to 12 each side. Another option, if we need to make this a little easier, you can also put that hovering leg, just put it on a tennis ball or a dog toy, anything that's going to allow you to keep a little bit of push into that foot. All right, and then you're coming down and back up. All right, after that, right to the floor for a half kneeling quad hip flexor stretch. So you want to get nice and long through knee and same side, tips of your fingers all the way to the ceiling. Stay tall, point your belly button up. Weight shift forward, back should stay flat. So what we don't want to see is the hips go forward and the ribs stay behind. Right? We want to stay stacked over our hips, bring everything with and back. Okay, we'll just do 5 of those per side. All right, stay engaged the whole time. Cool. And then our last one, if you have dumbbells or kettlebells at home, it's great. You can use weight for this. Flat back. We're just going to do a bent over row. All right, let those arms get real long. Slight round in the shoulders or the upper back. As your arms straighten, draw those shoulder blades together. Elbows come up to the ceiling. You want to see that vertical forearm position at the top. All right, so none of this, not a bent over bicep curl. We're doing a row. Pull back a little bit towards those hips. So we'll do 8 to 12 like that. If you don't have weights, that's okay. We're gonna just modify it a little. You can use cans or even just body weight. You don't have to hold anything. Same position, bent over, back flat, and you're trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Keep the arms relatively relaxed. They're gonna stay straight, but we wanna use your shoulders for this movement. All right, like you're pinching a broom handle between those shoulder blades. So 8 to 12 like that if you don't have weight. All right, so we'll go right into this now. You're starting against a chair. All right, 8 to 12 on the left, 8 to 12 on the right. Arms out front, nice and tall. Have at it. Sink and up. Slow on the down. You can work on a little bit of speed on the up motion if you're really stable. All right. If you need to make this tougher, go a little lower. Just make sure that that foot is glued to the floor. Grip the floor with your foot. All right, 8 to 12. And then we're going to switch sides. All right, helps to keep those arms out in front as a little bit of a counterweight for when your hips go back. All right, the arms drop. Tend to see the shoulders slump a little bit, and it doesn't look so good. So this just helps with posture a little bit too. Okay, make sure that foot is not creeping out in front. Okay, we don't want this, so we don't want to see you rounding through that low back as you go down. If that foot goes out in front, that low back is generally going to round. All right? If you keep that foot right alongside your stance leg, that back can stay a little flatter. Looks a little better. All right, once we get both sides on that, down to the floor for a quick stretch. All right, just to review, real tall and stacked to that down leg, glutes tense, shift your weight forward, shoulders move with the hips. Okay, we're just gonna do 5 of these. A little more of a stretch, you can step forward more. But again, make sure that you're feeling the stretch in the front of your hips. You shouldn't feel really any compression in that low back, right? We don't want this position. We want this. Go ahead and switch sides. All right, finish those up. And then we've got bent over row, 8 to 12 reps. So with or without weight. If you don't have weight, you're just going straight arms. We're going to do a reverse fly, so a little modified. If you've got weight, even better. Okay. Feet about shoulder width, hips back, back flat. Fight to keep that chest up just a bit. Pull. Big squeeze in that upper back. Try to really get those shoulder blades to pinch. Lower that weight with control. Slight round at the bottom. Big squeeze in that upper back as you come back. All right. As you finish that, set 1 is done. You can go right into set 2. Back to single leg squats. So arms in front. Hover that stance leg. Make sure you have your balance before you try to drop. Once you feel balanced, lower those hips. Shoot up. Another 8 to 12. Your choice on how many you want to do. Nice alternative to this. If you're wanting to up the ante a little bit, you could also add weight. All right? You can hold your cans, you can hold your dumbbell, whatever you like. It's a little goblet position. Makes it a little tougher. If you really want to get crazy, you could eliminate the chair and just do it hovering, right? So no box. All right, 8 to 12, both sides. Stay tall. All right, we're gonna go to the floor again. This way this time. Joints stacked, real tall. Shift that weight forward. Little hip stretch in the front here. Weight shift back. Stay organized through your torso. All stays together. Chest through hips. Helps to have that hand on your stomach so you can feel if your ribs are flaring up or down. You want to stay nice and neutral. Once you get 5 of those, switch sides. And we're only going to do 2 sets of this stretch. So this will be the last set of this stretch that we do. We have bent over rows next, or the reverse fly. Do reverse fly this time. All right, grab those weights, arms straight. Pinch those shoulder blades together at the top. Big squeeze, little pause at the top. Make sure that you're not shrugging. You want to make sure those shoulders are not sneaking up, okay? Arms should be perpendicular to your body. Should be a good amount of distance between your shoulders and your ears. So nice long neck. All right. Quick breather. And we're going to go for our last round. Again, we're omitting the stretch. We're just going one more set of each of the single leg squat to the box and the bent over rows. All right, let's get it. Last set. So arms out front, hover that leg, straight down like an elevator, shoot up like a missile. Just a little tap at the bottom. Make sure you're not slamming down on that chair or that bench, whatever you're using. Just kiss it. Good, other side. Watch that floating leg. Make sure it's not creeping out in front or out to the side. It should stay right underneath those hips as you go down. The knee's gonna bend. And then straighten as you stand up, just like your stance leg. All right, finish those up. Awesome job. We have one more set of our bench over row. Just back, flat, chest up. Big squeeze back. Lower down. Get those elbows high. And again, make sure you're not pulling straight up. The weight's going to travel back towards your hips just a bit. So we keep that pull primarily in your upper back. We don't want the biceps to be doing the main work of this exercise. That chin tucked, make sure it's not sneaking out in front as you pull. Right. Finish those up. Little breather, grab some water, and then we're going to get ready for our final block, our metabolic block. Good work. All right, now we're going to finish with a metabolic block. So this metabolic session is going to be timed. I'll have a timer running as we start. You're going to go for 30 seconds of work. You get a 15-second break in between movements. And we have 4 movements. We're actually going to end up doing 5 exercises in the first circuit, just because our last movement is right side and then the left side. You'll see what I mean after I explain them. So I'll run through these really quick, and then we'll start the timer and go. So our first one, starting it off, is a burpee. All right, everybody's favorite. So you are going to come into a squat, hands to the deck, hop out, hop back in and up, okay? If you want to make that a little tougher, you can implement that push-up at the bottom, hop up, right? Make sure you get nice and vertical at the top. If we need to make this a little easier, totally fine. So hands down, step back, right? Step back in and stand up tall, okay? Second movement now. We're gonna go right to push-ups. All right, so just wrapping it out. Keep a good tempo, 30 seconds. If you can make this a little easier, knees down, push up. Okay, put something under those knees if you need to cushion it. Third movement, we then have hamstring curls. So this is where those pieces of cardboard come in handy, or anything that really that's gonna slide. If you have carpet, something plastic, right? Lid to Tupperware works really well. You're just gonna lay back. I want to start in that straight legged, almost that reverse bridge position. Knees straight, hands on the floor for support if you need it. And you're gonna pull your heels in and back out. Right? Try to get heels right in under knees. Hips should rise as the knees bend. So hips are coming up with me as I come in. Out with control, knees straighten, hips stay off the ground. So I still got space here. All right, 30 seconds like that. And then our final movement, I'm gonna go left leg forward first. You don't have to do this with weight. You could do this with just the weight of your arms, or again, just a small can. You're gonna come across that downside leg and up over that front thigh. So hip to opposite shoulder. Hovering that back knee, just so you can see. I've got a little bend in that back leg. If you want to make this a little easier, just get a little straighter through the legs. Same movement. All right, we're gonna go 30 seconds, and then you're gonna switch sides. Same thing, opposite side. All right, so those are our 4 movements. All right, we're gonna begin. Let you get set up over your mat. All right, everybody ready? We're starting with burpees first. 30 seconds of work. Timer's ready, and begin. 30 seconds, let's go. Burpees. All right, you can go fast, you can go slow. Take your time, pace yourself. If you really want to crank it up, go for it. All right, again, you can just step out, knees down if you want to do that push-up. All right, hop in and up. All right, 30 seconds. Finish strong. 3 more seconds. Awesome. All right, 15-second break. So take a little breather. Get ready for push-ups. You can go knees on the mat if you need to, or just go strict push-ups, legs straight. Get that back flat. Ready to go, hands under shoulders. Go ahead. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. Try to keep those elbows in, tight towards your body. You don't want them out here, right? If you can't keep your elbows in, go to those knees. Make it a little easier. Finish all 30 seconds. Got about 5 seconds left. Keep moving. Good time. 15-second break again. Hamstring curls are next. So grab your slider, whatever you're using for sliders. Heels right in the middle. Body straight. Face up. Pull those heels in. Go ahead and go. Make sure the hips continue to rise as the heels come in. Out nice and slow with control. If you need to modify this, if it's getting really tough, you can just do a glute bridge. Right? You don't even need the slides. Big glute squeeze at the top, punch the knees forward, and back down. Good. 15-second break. So you want to be in that split stance. Right here. All right? Back knee is going to hover a little bit. If you need to make it easier, get up a little taller, knees straighter. Okay? Hip, go ahead and go. Cross opposite shoulder. Just like that. A little turn through that chest. Try to keep your belly button pointed forward. Big reach overhead. Big reach across the hips. Legs might burn on this one. Three seconds, and you're going to switch sides. Good, take a little break. Switch sides. So opposite leg is going to be back. All right. Everybody ready? Going to go in about 3 seconds. 2, 1. Hit it. Up and across. And opposite hip. All right, we're reaching the end of this first round. We're going to do one more round. All right. Think about where you're at right now. If you want to work a little harder, you're going to work a little faster in this last round. If you need to dial back, that's fine too. Keep a good tempo, keep working, stay stable. We got about 5 more seconds. Breathe, good. Take your time, 15-second break. And burpees now. Last set of burpees. Leave it all out there. Ready, you're going to go in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Breathe. Finish strong. Keep working. Don't make this a little tougher. Get some height on those jumps. Get way up there. If you need to dial back, just stand up nice and tall. Right? But finish in that stacked position either way. Keep working. 5 seconds. Good work. 15-second break. Push-ups are next. Lay down and ready. Hands under shoulders. Back flat. Go ahead and go. Make sure that chest is getting low. All the way to straight arms at the top. All right, don't cheat it at the bottom. If you can't get all the way down, make it easier. Let's prioritize good quality movement, range of motion, right, over reps and intensity. Good. Keep working, almost there. Good, take a break. Now we got hamstring curls, one more time. Those hamstrings are really fatigued. If your lower body's really fatigued, you can just do bridges. Alright, bridges is just gonna be here. Hamstring curls are gonna start with straight legs. Pulling those heels into your butt. Keep that core tight, back flat. You don't want to be extending too much through that low back. Good, time. Last 2 movements. It's actually the same movement, just opposite sides, right? So we're going to come down. You can go low knee or high knee in that split stance. Maybe let go. Try to turn your chest each way. So chest follows hands. Lower body stays still. You get a little easier, or sorry, a little tougher if you want. Lower it down. Core stays stable. Grip the floor with your feet. Back heel would be off the ground. Good. Switch sides. Last one, 15-second break, and we're gonna go. Got about 5 more seconds. Be ready. All right, hit it. Turn that chest, hold steady. And keep those hands in. Close to your body, like you got a wall close in front of you, so you don't need to be going way out in front. Keep them tight to the body. So pull, push, good. Time, awesome job. That's it for our metabolic block. Just take a little breather so you can lay on your mat. All right, palms up. Just try to lower that heart rate a little bit. Keep that low back against the mat, knees bent. And you're just trying to slow your breathing. Long pulls in from your belly. Try to quiet your chest. Just give us about 10 breaths. And we'll call it a day. Long, deep breaths. Slower and slower as you go. All right. Nice job, everybody. That's performance training. Hope to see you again.